Here is the red cabbage project done by me. The first step in my project was to cut up the red cabbage, which I will later put in my pot. I turned the heat on to a medium, but I later changed that to a high because it wouldn't boil fast enough. So put my water on top and I just waited until it boiled. Once I saw the water was boiling, I turned down the heat to a medium from high, and I started to add my red cabbage into it, but I realized that the water was overflowing, so I poured out some of the water after off camera. Once I smelled the red cabbage juice steaming up, I stirred it around with my knife. Don't play with knife, kids. And I turned the heat off. Looking at my lovely contraption I made, which is just a strainer and a bowl, I poured in my cabbage juice into the strainer, which would put all the juice in the bowl, but none of the extra leaves that we don't want. Succulent red cabbage juice. I let it sit and cool down. Looking underneath my cabinet, I would look for my 10 items that I would use for this project. Look at that handsome man right there. Here I have the red cabbage pH scale next to me. And on the other side, I have my 10 sample cups. Here's that cold, succulent red cabbage juice. Now, this is where the fun begins. Here are my 10 items. Starting off with pine sol, Febreze, window cleaner, which I use to clean the table, Fabuloso, floor cleaner, Lysol, vinegar, Dawn dish soap, and lastly, chlorine bleach. Now that is a face of success right there. Starting off with our first sample cup, I'm going with, in no specific order, Febreze. Spraying the Febreze very aggressively, I try to get it into the first sample cup, just enough, of course. Then I turn to my red cabbage juice, which I poured in 2 to 3 scoops for each sample. After pouring in the 2 to 3 scoops of red cabbage juice, it comes in as a blue, which on the pH scale is an 8, which just also means it's a basic. On to the next one, I take out my next cup, and in no specific order, again, I go with the pine sol. I pour it in very delicately, as you can see by my finger. Struggling to put the top on. Don't worry, I'll do it sooner. I go in for the 2 to 3 scoops, which also happen off screen. Forgive me. As you can see by my face, I'm very shocked because I did not expect it to be a red, which on the pH scale is in 0, meaning it's very acidic. And of course, onto the third, which is everybody's favorite, window cleaner. Which, as again, I used to clean the table because I didn't want to look it dirty on the video. I go in for my 2 to 3 scoops. And the result, it comes out green, which on the red cabbage pH scale, meaning it is a basic and a number 12. On to the next one is Fabuloso. I pour it in, and I go in for my 2 to 3 red cabbage scoops. 1, 2, 3 scoops of red cabbage juice goes into the cup, and it comes out as purple, which on a red cabbage pH scale is a 6, which means it is a acid. On to the next one is floor cleaner. I pour it into the cup very delicately. And again, Again, I go to my 2 to 3 scoops of red cabbage juice. After, I get a nice purple color again, which, technical difficulties, go back. It is a 4 on the pH scale, which means it is an acid. Now we go spray in some Lysol, which was very difficult because the spray wouldn't stay on. I put in my scoops very delicately, and I get as a result a green color, which on a pH scale is 12, meaning it is a basic. Our next contestant, which was very smelly, the Raid Roche spray. Don't know if you could tell, but it was very smelly when I was spraying it. Now I do my 2 to 3 red cabbage scoops, which for some reason took a while when I did this one. But as a result, I got a nice blue color, which on a red cabbage pH scale, it comes out as a 10, which means it is a basic. On to the next one, which is vinegar. Got a good back crack in there. This one was actually very surprising to me because the result was astonishing. Oh, it smelled very badly. Nobody likes vinegar, at least I hope not. After getting in those 2 to 3 scoops of red cabbage juice, it comes out as a red, which means it's a 0 on the pH scale. I already knew vinegar was an acid, but I was not expecting it to be that acidic. Our next contestant was Dawn dish soap, which smelled heavenly. Thank goodness, because the last two didn't. As you can see, I'm putting in work trying to get those 2 to 3 red cabbage juice scoops. And it comes out as a bluish green, which you can't see on the video. I try to put up close to the camera, but on the red cabbage pH scale, it could either be a 12 or a 10, which means it is a basic. Last but not least, chlorine bleach. Oh, don't drink that. Getting in those last 2 to 3 red cabbage juice scoops, I pour it in and it comes out as yellow, which on the red cabbage pH scale is a 14, which means it is a basic. Very smelly, as bleach should be. I had a lot of leftover cabbage juice which was surprisingly because I thought I would have ran through it, but I didn't. Good thing I made enough. It's better to have a lot than none. These are the results of all the things I did. Look at the pretty colors. While doing all of this, it was very late at night, so when I took my dog out, it was very dark. Look at the little frog. I don't like frogs. And for that extra credit, I had to put in a family member. So here's a video of me messing with my sisters while she's sleeping. Look at that. She's so annoyed, but I love her. Well, that's the project. It's very long because I'm new at editing, so forgive me for that. But I'm finished and I'm pretty sure I will get a good grade.